This week on Previews World Weekly, we discuss gatekeeping in comics, Art Spiegelman is honored by the National Book Award, and we unpack all of the announcements from D23. It's all happening right now on Previews World Weekly.
What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day. So thank you for joining us on Previews World Weekly. We're over here cutting up already. It's just, before we even got on camera, it was like already a done deal. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, a.k.a. the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day, who also handles all things Halloween Comic Fest.
That's true.
Halloween Comic Fest, if you guys don't know, is like the spooky little sister to Free Comic Book Day. Same concept, but it's more horror-focused. This year, we're doing things a little bit differently, though. I did all of that lead up just to say that this year will be different. We're celebrating the event virtually online, so it'll be the entire month of October, and we'll be doing all kinds of cool stuff. We'll have digital comics available every week. We'll have interviewers with cosplayers, comic book creators. We're doing some like March Madness-style brackets that I'm incredibly excited for.
That's fun. That's going to be fun.
I'm very excited. So if you have a lot of hot takes about monsters, horror movie villains, or candy, then
Like, I feel like that's the trifecta right there. There's a lot of hot takes on all those things.
every year during Halloween Comic Fest, one of my favorite things to do is just like get everybody all whipped up about candy corn and let it go.
Well, for the record, candy corn is gross.
It's good.
What?
It's good.
I'm actually shocked. I'm actually surprised that you fall on the side of good on this.
Do you know
one.
what I hate? The pumpkins. The pumpkins are bad. I don't know why. It might be that it's just too much.
Have I had the pumpkins before? I don't think I've had the pumpkins before.
They're too big. It's too much. Also, candy corn is delicious and delightful in a very specific quantity.
Yeah, okay. That's right. What, like 2?
For me, it's more than 2 because it's just your mainlining chocolate, or not chocolate, sugar.
Sugar, right, exactly. You know, actually, I discovered my new favorite thing, and I mean, this kind of happens this is not at all what we said we're going to talk about at the beginning of the show, but my new favorite thing, and I guess this only comes around Easter, I guess maybe Valentine's Day and Halloween, is the Reese's, like, they'll do different shapes. So Easter will be like a bunny, but they'll have, like, the peanut butter center to it.
Yeah.
And then, like, I guess this season will be the pumpkin with the peanut. Those are my favorite things in the world.
Oh, yeah.
I love those.
So it's like 80% peanut butter and 20% chocolate.
But my teeth always rebel when I bite into one. But I love them.
Yeah.
But every time I bite into one, my teeth are like, no.
Decline.
You're right, exactly. So, anyway, Halloween Comic Fest. What were we talking about? I forgot.
How you can celebrate.
Yes.
So follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Halloween Comic Fest. This is the website, HalloweenComicFest.com. It'll have all of your fun and spooktacular celebrations. I should be canceled for that.
No, we've been running with the spooktacular thing for a while, so it's not even your fault. It's just embedded in your brain at this point. Exactly.
We have some comments. People chiming in.
Let's get to the comments. What's going on, people?
Of course, our good friend Tasha Candle X.
Candle
Hey,
X.
Natasha.
Annie Fox is saying, "Whew, I made it. Hi, hi."
Hey, Annie, what's up?
What's up, Annie?
Ubaldo, another good friend of ours, is back. Hello, everybody.
What's up,
Ubaldo,
Hey.
Ubaldo, is everything okay with your construction outside your house? He had a bunch of random stuff going on outside his house. So
Oh, okay.
How do you
Interesting.
know that?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
I was looking up his Facebook, his Twitter.
Oh, okay.
I was following people that follow us.
Oh, that was
He's
nice.
kind enough to follow us. I want to see what's going on in his life.
Okay, all
Is
right.
that stalkerish? I don't know.
The way you put it sounds a little stalkerish.
I
I
hope
feel like
your
there's a
house
better
is
way to
okay,
phrase it. I hope your house is
Ubaldo.
okay. Be ashamed if anything happened to it.
Candle X in that intro.
Yeah, intro's nice. Shout out to Johnny Rose. Shout out to Johnny. Actually, speaking of Johnny.
And hold on, we got more. Annie Fox saying smiles, and
Smiles,
Ubaldo is also saying yes, Halloween candy.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, we expect you to vote on that, Ubaldo, when the time comes, because Ashton's got something for you. Actually, so Johnny, you were out with the gaming nerds last week, right? That's actually one of the reasons we were MIA and we didn't have a show last week is because Johnny was at Alliance Open House. How was that?
I apologize. Yes, I was out at what is called Alliance Open House. So basically, those who don't know, we are part of a bigger company, obviously. So Diamond Comics also has a company called Alliance Game Distributors, and basically, whereas Diamond takes care of like the comic books and the games and everything. I'm sorry, and the toys and collectibles. Alliance Game Distributors actually takes care of like the board games and tabletops and dice and everything like that. So every year, well, except for the last 2 because of the world, there is a conference called Alliance Open House, and basically we invite a lot of the friendly local game stores to come out and take a look and talk to the publishers of these games and see what's coming out in this
That looks
year.
so fun.
Stuff that they can get their hands on. They got, this was demo night here, so people got a chance to go out there and play like games that aren't even on the market yet. And retailers can decide if they want to have them in their stores, and then they can get FaceTime with the publishers and say, I want to have this many units, whatever, this and that. So.
Looks like it was a nice turnout too.
Yeah, it was a good turnout for like their first year back since the pandemic. It was a good amount of people. I was happy to see a lot of the retailers come out. So
I mean, it goes to show that even nerds, because we're notorious for being shut-ins, right? We want to get outside when we're forced to stay inside for too long.
Man, that's rough.
even if it's for like a tabletop convention or anything like that. That's even a better reason actually. I actually always pass the I think it's at New York Comic Con. There's always that section where everybody's doing like they'll do like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic. It's like always like a big hub of people just playing there. And I always have these moments like I kind of want to get into this, but I'm always kind of like. I was about to say, I was about to say gatekeeping. It's not really that. It's more like I just had these moments where I'm like, it seems like a lot of work though.
It seems very daunting. I have a friend who's like, he wants to get into Dungeons and Dragons, and he went out and bought like one of the rule books.
Yeah. It's a lot.
If he wants to learn it and teach it to me, I would love to play, but it's that same thing.
Right,
it just seems so daunting.
I had a friend. I did a book that was like a Magic the Gathering kind of comic thing, and so I literally asked my friend. I was like, "Can you teach me how to play?" And he taught me, and I had it for like about a week.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I was on it. Yeah. I had it, and then my brain filled up with something else. I don't know what it was, like Michael Bay Transformers or something. I don't know what it was, but it was just in one ear and out the other after that. So I just want to point out. Actually, I was going to mention Paper Girls got canceled by Amazon.
Man.
I kind of not surprised by that though for some reason, and it's not because of the quality of the show. I never saw the show, and I've heard good things about the show. I just seems like that's the nature of streaming services now.
It also, it didn't seem like there was a lot of like excitement surrounding it, and not to be negative, but like I felt like it got announced that it was picked up. Everyone was kind of excited.
Yeah.
The trailer came out. Everyone was kind of excited. The show came out. Everyone was kind of excited. And then I just never heard about it again.
Well, something can also be said for, I swear, first of all, I feel like Stranger Things ate its lunch, right?
Yeah.
It totally ate its lunch.
Yeah.
But also, wasn't like the 4th or 5th season of Stranger Things like just like a month prior?
Yeah.
Like
It
something
just
like that.
came out.
And everybody was talking about that. So it kind of feels like the timing of it was kind of off too on addition to everything else. So it sucks. I mean, like, yeah, but also just seems like the nature of the streaming service. We were talking about the Sandman thing and how Neil Gaiman was online saying like, hey, it's just because it's in your top 10 on Netflix doesn't mean that it's going to get a second season.
Which is bonkers
It's crazy.
to me.
Right. I feel like these streaming services need to manage their expectations a little bit or something. I don't know, but
Yeah.
on another note, because I wasn't going to talk about Paper Girls, I was going to mention that I saw Grant Morrison last week.
Oh yeah. Tell me about that.
He's got a book called Luda, and I think I got a sinus infection because I went to New York to go see him, but it was worth it. Just to see him talk about drag queens and magic with a
Here's
K.
some drag queens.
Yeah, the book is actually about a drag queen who's like I guess a magician or something like that. I haven't dove into it yet, but you got you got a signed copy when you went to this sit down Grant Morrison. Yeah, never seen Grant Morrison in real life, so that was actually really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was really awesome. And people kept asking him about U.S. politics, which is really weird to me because he's not from the U.S. He doesn't, as far as I know, he doesn't live in the U.S.
Also, why is that the thing you're most concerned about hearing about from him?
Yeah, I don't know. It was one of those things where I was just like, why are we still talking about this? And he seemed kind of tired of it too, but overall, it was great to see Grant Morrison talk about all the Grant Morrison stuff. He talks about sigils, and he talks a little bit about Batman, and he talk, all that stuff that you want to hear him talk about. So that was kind of great. So yeah, got a sinus infection probably, but worth the trip.
Worth it, yeah.
All right, let's get into this week's releases. So Ashton's here, I'm here, if in case you haven't noticed. And we're going to talk about our picks this week, and then we're going to show you what's available at your local comic shop. Check it out. I'll go first. I'll go first. Why
Mixing
not?
it up.
I'll go first. I know, right? I mean, there's only two options, right? Midnight Suns, number one. Midnight Suns was this kind of like this 90s superhero thing that I'll say it aged pretty well as a concept, right? You basically take the supernatural, mystical, horror Marvel characters, put them on a team reluctantly, right? Because of course that's how this works with the Marvel characters. And then you have them fight a supernatural, mystical, horror character.
I'm with it.
Right? Very cut and dry. The old team, I think, was Ghost Rider, Blade and the Night Stalkers, Morbius. Oh, God, I saw Morbius this weekend, by the way. That's,
Sorry for you.
no bueno. I think the Scarlet Witch was involved at one point, too.
Okay.
Maybe. I think it actually might have been...
That would make sense.
Yeah, it was like a Midnight Suns. There was like, I think there was like a sequel, and like I think she might have been involved. But yeah, just kind of goofy, fun stuff, but like really just right up my alley. And it just so happens that does not just so happens. There's a video game coming out.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, there's a video game coming out. The video game features Magic with a K, also, Wolverine, Ghost Rider, Blade, and they're on a team, of course, and they're trying to stop some supernatural thing. Also, oh God, I cannot remember the girl from Runaways. Nico? Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's Nico who's also on the team.
Sounds right to me.
But yeah, the video game's dropping, so of course, naturally, Marvel put out a miniseries. But I don't think this is just going to be a tie-in, and the reason I think that is because Ethan Sachs is writing it, and Ethan Sachs is pretty good.
Okay.
Like he did Old Man Hawkeye, which actually surprised me, which is was a really fun read. He also did the Star Wars. He's also doing the Star Wars Bounty Hunter series.
Ooh.
So, and that's actually pretty entertaining. And so, yeah, he's just good at like, playing in the universe. He always kind of like does like nice little callbacks to like character moments in the past, which is always gratifying as a reader. And, he's one of those guys that like, we hear about Donny Cates, we hear about Al Ewing, Chip Zdarsky, we hear about Jason Aaron. We hear about all these guys all the time. We don't really hear about Ethan Sachs that much, but he's actually really good. And you guys should check out some of his work. Midnight Suns. I'm thinking this will be a fun book, not just a tie-in.
I mean, I would read it, and I generally don't read superhero
And it's a cool
comics.
crew. I mean, like Johnny, can you throw up? It's a cool like selection of characters. It's actually the indigenous Ghost Rider, which that in itself has a history, whole back history in the Marvel comics. But like, yeah, just a cool lineup, probably fun. And who knows? I mean, I'm not sure if it ties in directly to the video game. I'm assuming maybe, but I think on its own it'll be a good read as well. So check that out. That's from Marvel this week. Ashton, what are you picking up this week?
Okay, so I'm back with more Five Nights at Freddy's garbage. You actually let me know that this was out this week because I would have missed it. So Five Nights at Freddy's has been doing these like graphic novels that kind of expand the lore of the Five Nights at Freddy's universe by picking at characters that aren't the characters from the video games. So it's other characters that have also had like weird, horrifying experiences at the various Freddy Fazbear locations. And so this picks 3 different characters, each of whom have made a wish. But it being Five Nights at Freddy's, it very much takes like genie rules apply, so their wishes get twisted around into something they absolutely did not ask for. Worst possible outcome you could expect, and it's incredibly sinister. What I like about these is Scott Cawthon, who made the original first Five Nights at Freddy's game, continues to be involved in everything, even the comic books. So the continuity in these is fantastic.
Airtight, nice.
Yeah.
I like that. That's really cool.
I'm also going to cheat and pick a second thing, which is this Great Gatsby graphic novel. If for no other reason than I desperately need to point out, of all of the pieces of classic literature that you could adapt into a graphic novel, this makes the most sense to me.
I could see that. Without hearing your reasoning, I could kind of see that.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Because it's set in the jazz age of the 1920s, and everything is big, loud, vibrant,
Very visual,
like parties, dresses, all of this stuff. So it could be incredibly beautiful. It's a full color adaptation. So I think it would be interesting just to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's definitely something. Actually, you know what's funny? I just lobbed up an interview with AWA because they have a Gatsby adaptation coming as well, but it's going to be a little bit more modernized.
Okay.
But like it is very much adaptation of the F. Scott Fitzgerald novel, just like more 2022 version of it. So, and I think it kind of opens itself up to something like that. Also, I just thought about that. The Roaring Twenties. It's the 20s again.
That could
I just
be
thought about that.
interesting.
Yeah, all right. That's the setting. That kind of makes sense. I'll see. I'm not sure if they're going to play with that, but I'm very curious.
It'd be cool. I mean, a lot of the drama in The Great Gatsby is timeless anyway.
Yeah. He's pining over somebody, and, so yeah, no, absolutely. Of
More
course.
comments.
More comments. Thank you for the comments, guys.
We
I
have our
appreciate
good friend Mystical Green Beanie saying Morbius is Troy's favorite movie. after Blade Trinity in the 1989 Punisher movie.
That is such a personal attack, and I don't appreciate it at all.
Wait, so what did you think about Morbius? Tell us all the reasons you disliked
Well,
it.
admittedly, I kind of was watching it off and on.
That was probably a better experience.
I mean, I guess. Like, it's, it's just a big nothing movie. Like, that's kind of it. Did you see it?
I saw it in theaters.
Oh God, why'd you see it in theaters?
My boyfriend's brother got to pick the movie we went to see, and he wanted to see
Man,
Morbius.
you gotta watch those third parties because they always steer you wrong every single time.
And we also have Stan Diamond III checking in and saying, looking forward to the Midnight Suns game. You were right about it being Nico.
Okay,
by the
nice.
way.
Thank you. Right? Yeah. No, like, the Morbius movie. I mean, I couldn't tell you anything about the real details of it. It's just,
It happened.
it happened. Someone was describing the trailer for the Black Adam movie.
Yeah.
And they said something like, I forget what I was watching, but they said that what they just said described Morbius perfectly. It feels like it was made 20 years ago.
Oh.
Like, this movie would have made sense 20 years ago, but now we're like, now we've had Iron Man and Avengers Endgame and like The Dark Knight and like, all these things have kind of shifted the landscape of these type of movies that it's kind of like, why are we even doing this? It's like, so, what was I about to say? Oh, PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases. Yes. Be sure to play along and check out what's available this week at your local comic shop. Know before you go to your local comic shop, go to PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases. Every single week, we have a lineup of everything that's available. That includes DC titles. Mm-hmm. So definitely check that out. That is available to you at no charge because we like you and we're nice like that.
We're nice.
Let's talk about Hicks real quick.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. So there's a 3-day event coming up. We've talked about Hicks before on the show. So you know what? A picture is worth 1,000 words. Johnny, can you roll that beautiful bean footage?
Hicks is back with another amazing auction that is chock full of pop culture awesomeness. Here are just some of the incredible items that you can find over at Hicks.com. With nearly 2,200 auction lots of comics, cards, action figures, and toys, and all items starting at just $9.99, this is one auction not to be missed. Closing dates for items are September 20th through 22nd. Don't miss this 3-day event going on now over at Hicks.com. Hicks, America's first collectibles auction house.
So I was definitely on the Hicks website before the show.
Yeah.
There's a Green Goblin Mego. Remember we were talking about Megos not too long ago.
Yeah.
There's one going for thousands of dollars. I mean, just like off the break. Like people, like I guess it's
Yeah.
worth a lot. Like I know there's a huge Mego collection culture out there, but yeah, I was just like, wow, that's kind of crazy to me. Real quick, yes, 3-day event closing September 21st and September 22nd because the event is so big that they need 2 days to close out all
3
the
days.
auction items.
3
I'm sorry.
days.
Oh, is it 3 days?
Oh.
20th to the 22nd.
I'm
It's
sorry.
closing?
The 20th to the 22nd. Is the closing date?
Well, depending on what the item is, there's like items that
Right.
close on the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd.
I stand corrected. As a matter of fact, Johnny, you want to show people what's going on the website right now?
Yeah, honestly, like
We're
the
wrong.
cool thing about, and I mean, I'm gonna have to fanboy out here a second
That's
because
fine.
you
That's
go to the
cool.
website right here, and let me go back. You can see the
Can we look at the Stormtrooper?
so right here, like
Ashton's really invested
nearly
in the
2,200
Stormtrooper.
lots. You click on this, and if you're whatever you're looking for, there's a listing here. Like even for Ashton, there's Archie comics in here.
Oh, let's see one.
So Archie,
Oh, they're super affordable, bro.
1950, 1982.
Big
Oh, wow.
Ethel.
Yeah, 1977. A lot of these slab too.
Archie's car. Oh my
Archie's
God.
car.
That's so cool.
That's actually pretty. I actually do. I have this affinity for like if I find old Archie comics, I kind of like have this impulse to buy them.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like some nostalgia thing with me.
Oh, speaking of nostalgia,
Oh,
I had him
God.
as a kid.
I think I did too. Yeah, the one with the pizza. Yeah, I sure
Yeah.
did.
Oh my god.
That's crazy.
Only $10. I think I might even.
Is this the actually? Can you show? Actually, Johnny, can you go back to that real quick?
Yeah.
Are these the ones that have like the little like weird action items, action things? Okay, no, they aren't. There was a series of Ghostbuster toys that had like a Egon would like open his mouth and fall, and his mouth would fall
Oh,
to the
I know
ground,
what you're
and his
talking
tongue would
about,
shoot
yeah.
out.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
I haven't seen those. I haven't never seen those. I haven't seen those since I was a kid, but I know they exist, and I just thought that's what they might be.
But I mean, there's everything in here, like Simpsons, Spawn, Star Trek, Star Wars, Buck Rogers, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Green Hornet. Like, there's so much stuff in here. There's a I saw something in here. It was the first appearance of the Prowler
Oh, okay.
from
From Spider-Man.
The Amazing Spider-Man, like 178 or something. I think it was. But there's some good deals in here. So
That's
definitely
Miles Morales' uncle.
check out. What's that?
Miles Morales' uncle.
No, that's in the universe 1610. That's in the Ultimate Universe.
Oh, you know she's right.
So
Look
this,
Wow.
this
at
is
that.
the original
Hobie Brown.
Hobart Brown. Yep, there
Yep,
you
there
go.
you go.
Did Johnny just nerd check Troy?
He did, but I gave him back though. I knew his name though. I want to say I
Wow.
knew his name. I want to point that out.
Actually, I'm sorry. It was Hobart Brown.
Gotta push your glasses up.
Yep, absolutely. That's what they're for. That's what they're there for. All right, no, well, yeah, I stand corrected, but it will be closing September 20th through the 22nd, 3-day event, and yeah, be sure to go on over there because yeah, I mean, you saw some of the political memorabilia. That's also part of it. There's also, of course, toys, comics, original art, which is actually really cool. Like I'm kind of into original art right now at an
Yeah.
affordable price. Like, because some of this stuff gets crazy.
Well, that's
but,
the whole thing with this auction, right?
Yeah.
Like, they do their big auctions where things get a little crazy, but this one's, like, affordable. Like,
The
saw some of
smaller
that
one's a
stuff
little
was
bit more
$10.
affordable. Yeah, if
like,
you want to up your collector game,
Right.
this is the one to go to. Check out Hicks for sure, Hicks.com. All right, let's get into some news.
do it.
So we're gonna save the D23 stuff for afterwards because of course we want to talk about this. But we have some other news items because other things happen in the world besides D23.
God, Disney.
So let's do it. News.
News.
I like Ashton's like, this will not break me.
It did.
It did.
I'm trying real hard.
So what's going on in the world of geekdom?
Marvel's marveling again.
Marvel's marveling. Marvel's gonna marvel.
Marvel's going to do another epic crossover,
Okay.
as they are so apt to do. Spider-Man and the X-Men will be teaming up in this crossover called Dark Web, coming to comic shops this December. It'll take two of the most famous wronged clones of the Marvel Universe and team them up to take back what is allegedly theirs. So Madeline Pryor, aka the Goblin Queen, and Ben Reilly, now known as Chasm, will reignite an inferno that will send Spider-Man and the X-Men into a spiral in Dark Web.
Interesting.
And they won't be the only ones feeling the repercussions and the fallout of this. This event will be taking place across a number of titles. There will be a new one-shot, Dark Web #1, so that'll be hitting shops December 7th. But then there's also a number of tie-ins and limited issue series that will be feeding into this larger storyline. So that'll be Amazing Spider-Man 15 and 16, Dark Web X-Men #1 and #2, Dark Web Miss Marvel #1, Mary Jane and Black Cat #1, Gold Goblin #2, and Venom #14. I went a little out of order from how they have it listed on the website. Sorry,
Who's a
Johnny.
Gold Goblin. Wait, hold on. What's going on here? Who that?
Not sure, but the costume is dope.
I love that costume actually. Yeah, that's actually what caught my attention. I was like, wait, what is this? All right, I'm behind on my Spider-Man reading right now. So interesting. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That was it.
No, I'm actually kind of into this. I like, it's kind of my two favorite Marvel things kind of colliding together. Like, it's weird because, like, I won't make the effort to read either one of them, like, individually on a regular basis until something catches my attention. But if you fuse them together, I'm like, oh, yeah, sure.
Easy sell.
Right. It's peanut butter in my, peanut butter in my chocolate type of
Yeah,
thing.
there you go.
There you go. Absolutely. What else is going on?
All right. Art Spiegelman, the multi-award winning cartoonist and author, is set to receive the 2022 Medal for Distinguished Contribution to American Letters. This is coming from the National Book Foundation. He'll be the first cartoonist ever to receive this Lifetime Achievement Award from the National Book Foundation. They've been giving out this award for 34 years, and they've never given it to a cartoonist. He will be the first. Seems personal.
That seems personal.
This is an interesting point as well. Neil Gaiman will be presenting him with the award at the ceremony in November. And to give, just some context in case you guys don't remember, January, there was back in January, a whole hubbub
Oh yeah.
when Mouse got banned from a set of Tennessee schools. It led to whole uproar, media attention, protest, and it actually helped the book go back into print for the first time in quite some time and surge up the sales charts.
Nice. Revenge is a dish best served cold, I guess.
Absolutely.
There you go, absolutely. Also, I guess we didn't put this in the news, but genderqueer is also going through it right now. So support these creators, support your local libraries or comic shops, and expose yourself to something different.
Yeah.
Expose yourself to things. Not, yeah.
In what you read.
Whatever. You know what I mean. Anyway.
Keep your clothes on, gang.
Speaking of things that needed to be exposed, just give me the damn Indiana Jones trailer already.
Yeah, they really did all this to say nothing.
This is killing me, man. I mean, I've said this before. Indiana Jones, more than Star Wars, Indiana Jones is my thing.
That's crazy.
It's absolutely I very much am into Indiana Jones, which is crazy. Actually, it is crazy because there's only been like 3 movies.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
well,
it's been
no,
4.
what happened to the fourth
It's been
one?
4 movies.
Yeah, wait, 1, 2, 3, 5.
That was definitely I blocked that out of my memory. And I actually love this image. I think this is a great image.
It is.
But just give me the trailer.
I really can't believe they didn't have it or didn't want to show it at D3. Like, why would you not?
I feel like that's kind of the consensus about D23 this year is like they didn't show enough.
Okay.
Like there was a lot of talking about stuff that was coming, but not really showing stuff that was coming. And a lot of stuff we saw, I feel, was stuff we already knew was on the way.
I mean, I kind of felt that way. I looked at a recap of it because obviously I didn't see everything live. And a lot of the recap was like, they mentioned this, no trailer. They mentioned this, no trailer.
Yeah.
Like many, many times.
Many times.
To the things that people were most interested to see. Like you showed up with all of these trailers for things that are sure, cool, but not the things people cared about, truly.
No, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. I it's the Indiana Jones thing in particular. I'm just like, it's been in development for a very long time. There's some rumors going around that are kind of troubling, and not to mention Steven Spielberg was attached to it, and then he was like, I'm out of here. And, your girl Kathleen is definitely behind it. But Harrison Ford, he better not be lying to us, man. I'm gonna be so mad. Harrison Ford came out and said that the movie was great. Like he thanked actually Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who's his co-star, and I think she might be a co-writer on this movie.
Okay.
For her contributions to like making the series like really sing, or making the movie really sing. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I actually think she's a really good writer. Like I watched Killing Eve. I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
I've not.
I watched Killing Eve. I think Killing Eve is perfect. It's twisted, it's wild, but it keeps me watching. She also did No Time to Die, the James Bond movie, probably off the strength of Killing Eve.
Okay.
And I actually think it's one of the better James Bond movies from the Daniel Craig stuff.
Definitely.
So I'm curious. I want to know. Just give me a damn trailer.
Something, and even just like a teaser, like literally anything at this point.
Anything at this point. So yeah, I'm a little anxious. That's all, because I'm just sort of like, I don't want another Indiana Jones movie that I just cannot even add to the collection. Like, because Crystal Skull, maybe I need to revisit it. Maybe I'll think differently about it. I doubt it.
I feel like I have to believe if Harrison Ford said that it was good, that it's good. It's like Harrison Ford has kind of got like the grumpy old man energy.
He absolutely does, yes.
So like if he disliked it, I feel like he just wouldn't say anything at
He
all.
actually got emotional too. He was kind of tearing up a little bit. It was like kind of wild, yeah. And I couldn't pinpoint where it was. We should move on to the other stuff. But like I couldn't pinpoint if he was tearing up because it's his last one.
That's possible.
Or if he was tearing up because the movie's so good.
Could be both.
Could
be both.
But other things that went down. Werewolf by Night looks great.
Sure.
Very unexpected. It's a Marvel thing.
Got it.
Just FYI.
Oh God.
I was like, look at the trailer, because it's not at all what you. Oh, here's the trailer right here.
All right, great. Let's look at it.
But you look at it while I talk about it. But it's got some Grindhouse vibes to it, and not to mention old school Universal Monster vibes to it. I don't know if this is just for the trailer, and the movie itself is going to be like a little bit more contemporary. But
I kind of hope the whole thing's in black and white.
I really hope
like
so
that.
too. I mean, if you're gonna put it, if you're not releasing it in theaters and you're gonna put it on Disney Plus, you can get away with doing something like that.
Sure.
So just do it. I'm keep trying to figure out this is Elsa Bloodstone, which is actually one of the horror Marvel characters. She's kind of like a vampire werewolf hunter. But yeah, that's cool. And also Secret Invasion. Give me more of the Shield spycraft stuff. That seems to be few and far between lately. I eat all that stuff up. That stuff makes the Marvel universe for me, especially the MCU. Kevin Feige said something about the Avengers are not a thing.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, which I guess leans into the whole, this is why we have the Thunderbolts. We'll see.
Are they going to be... I guess I have a lot of questions, though. Like, that's been your flagship thing for the last, 10-plus years. And, okay, so they're gone, which is fine. Everything has to come to an end. But I feel like they need to be properly disbanded. You can't just make them go away. And then it's like, here, now we have the Thunderbolts. Like, put all of the trust you had in the Avengers in this new team up that you know nothing about.
Right.
When we've spent 10 years building this group of people that you trust for these reasons.
Yeah.
You can't just expect to transfer that.
Well, I think him saying that, I think is kind of let me use a wrestling term, kind of a work.
Okay.
Like it's kind of I feel like him saying that is him kind of being like, the Avengers are gone, like that
Wink,
type
wink,
of thing.
nudge, nudge.
But also we have to keep in mind, okay, the Avengers in terms of the comic books, right? The Avengers are the premier superhero team from Marvel, right?
Right.
But you also have the Fantastic Four, which are like Marvel's first superhero team, right? And that's a big deal, and they're cosmic superhero team by default. And then you also have the X-Men,
Right.
which is like probably one of the biggest teams in comics.
Sure.
So they're they don't need the Avengers, I kind of feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just an interesting take.
I'm not opposed to disbanding the Avengers. I guess my big thing is I just want there to be as much care and attention given to building a new group and building viewer trust in that group.
Yeah. I don't think the Thunderbolts is going to be that. Like, I mean, just knowing what I know about the Thunderbolts, I don't think that they really are going to be the replacement for the Avengers. They're probably going to be more of a problem for the Avengers.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So we'll see. I don't know. But other than that, what else? Would anything catch your attention, Ashton?
Of course.
Of course.
There was the entire Lucasfilm section, which I'm all about. They talked about Ahsoka a little bit. They dropped the last trailer for Andor.
Yes, they did.
I'm
yeah.
incredibly excited
That
for
looks
Andor.
great. That looks really good. Yeah.
It looks really good. I love the idea that Cassian Andor would be like a Han Solo type character, that he's like not about the rebellion until it like absolutely affects him and he has to be.
Right.
Like, I love the idea
I
that
love those
not
stories,
everybody in the Star Wars universe is a hero. A lot of people are reluctant heroes, and I think that's important to explore. Speaking of that, Mandalorian Season 3 is coming.
Yeah, I saw that.
Finally. Also, they're going to force us to suffer through more Mufasa content.
That is strange. That is a strange one. Actually, I didn't even realize they had remade Pinocchio, that Tom Hanks was in it, and that there was a Pinocchio movie that was already out. Had no idea.
Pinocchio creeps me out, even in his animated form. I don't like it.
Yeah, that just kind of. I mean, I guess I'm not the target audience for it. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
fine. I
fair.
get that. But like at the same time, I was like, they remade Pinocchio. Tom Hanks is in it. It's already on Disney Plus. Like all these things
it's
just.
already out?
It's already. I think it's already out. Like I opened Disney Plus and it was on Disney
It's
Plus.
out. It came out on Disney Plus, which was the 8th.
On the 8th. Okay.
Why
see,
are you
yeah.
yelling?
Why are you yelling? But yeah, to that point, the Mufasa thing is also kind of like, why are we doing this?
I just feel like the Mufasa thing, it's like, I don't know. I feel like it feels like such a thing where Mufasa dying is kind of like your first like emotional interaction with film as a child.
Yeah.
Like, at least for me, it was for my brother and
I
all
think
of
that's
that.
valid
Like,
for a lot of people.
right. And that it's very personal. So you're going to take this thing that's like kind of your first time you interact with media and realize there's an emotional output from it. And then you're going to give it a background. It just feels like, for lack of a better phrase, it kind of feels like tragedy porn.
That's a good point. That's actually, that's totally fair, actually. Now, Johnny asked, he said it kind of like facetiously, but like, he kind of mentioned like, well, what's the difference between that and doing Darth Vader prequels?
And that's a great question.
Yeah.
It really is. And I think it just has to do with, I don't know, it being tied to childhood.
Yeah.
And I think it
well,
also has to
okay.
do with like what you expect of those characters. Darth Vader's a villain,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's interesting to see kind of his fall into villainy, why he is the way he is, what motivates him to be a villain and do
Right.
those things. Whereas
Right.
with Mufasa, like you know that his reign is going to come. The end of his reign is going to come too early, and it's going to come from someone he supposedly loves. All of
Yeah.
this stuff, and you're going to show him at his height and his peak. And also infuse it with all the nostalgia of Lion King,
Yeah.
just to know that it's going to be ripped away
Yeah.
in a really emotional way.
Yeah. No, I think that's real. Like the outcomes are very different. Actually,
Yeah.
I also kind of feel like I felt we had this period because of Star Wars actually where everything was getting a prequel.
Yeah, really.
And like I was kind of like, okay, well we're done with that now. We were done with that like 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think so too.
And now we're doing prequels again. It's like, okay. Yeah, I mean some interesting stuff from D23. I saw,
Yeah.
it's I kind of I don't know. I kind of wish. I wish we could get this sort of. I'm hoping that at New York Comic Con we can get to see equally cool stuff, not just from Disney, but from everybody. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I think it's time to kind of get back to. I know we're in this new normal now,
Right.
right? But it'd be kind of great to just be excited about a plethora of things and not everyone's so siloed now.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like, stuff comes out on Netflix and you barely know about it unless you've already gamed and the algorithm has already targeted you. Like I said, I didn't even know about the Pinocchio thing. So everybody's on a streaming service, so everybody's funneling stuff, and I'm like, I want to see all the things that are coming. Like I want to be excited about this stuff. That's part of the deal. So we'll see.
So Stan from our chat is saying, so are we supposed to show kids the Mufasa film before The Lion King just to increase the emotional damage?
Emotional damage. I guess that's kind of the game, right? It is tragedy porn. I just thought about that.
Right?
Oh my god, that's not nice.
No.
That's kind of like anti-Disney, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of
That's
subversive.
weird. I don't know, guys. Any more comments, Johnny?
Jesus.
Mystical Green Beanie was checking in earlier, and he said if the Gold Goblin is Gwen Stacy, the event should be retroactively named Sin's Presence.
Oh boy.
So, Mystical Green Beanie, clearly, first of all, I know him in real life.
Yeah, he's been on this show spinning chaos a
spinning
couple
chaos
times.
A couple times. But apparently, like, his reoccurring thing is to bring up the Sin's past storyline, which is garbage. And I will not
Not
hide my
acknowledge.
feelings on that. It is an awful, awful storyline. And we're not getting into the details, but yeah, I guess his thing now is just he wants to come on here and just trigger me every single week. Thank you. I appreciate it, Mystical Green Beanie.
Doing the Lord's work.
Doing the Lord's work. Now, he's doing somebody's work, that's for sure. Okay, so Head Wounds.
Yes.
Sparrow from Legendary. Let's take a look at the trailer. This is the title. It's coming out from Legendary Comics, also an offshoot of Legendary Pictures, and it's available in October. So here, check it out.
The world is rotten. Bunch of soulless bastards doing evil shit. From the gutters all the way up to the highest public offices. Everyone's out for themselves. Which kind of makes sense, because we're all just a bunch of garbage people.
All right, yeah, he used a bad word, sorry. Whoops. All right, so I wanted to kind of surprise you with this. I didn't realize, I forgot that it actually says Oscar Isaacs. So the actual title is Oscar Isaac Presents Head Wound Sparrow.
Oh.
And apparently, I guess this is one of these, kind of like a vanity project type thing where,
Sure.
he kind of lays down the groundwork for something potentially, I guess, for television or film, I'm assuming.
Right.
But yeah, thoughts, Ashton?
I'm excited. I'm hyped. What's up? What's good? I'll read it. I mean, I have to say, I'm a sucker for, like, I already like this person. They're doing another thing, so
Yeah,
now I have
sure.
to consume it. So I've certainly, all right.
Johnny's like, moving on.
He's like, we don't want to hear about Oscar Isaac.
Sorry, continue.
My bad.
I'm definitely one of those. I've fallen prey to whatever they're trying to do here with, like, developed by Oscar Isaac, big red letters.
Right,
Like,
right.
you got me.
You got it. You're done. No, it's an interesting concept. It actually deals with divine characters. There's a lot of angels and demons type thing, but it also sounded like a crime story.
Okay.
And it didn't occur to me until you and I have been working back and forth to get an interview together for this book with the creative team, and when the files came in recently, this is when the tip-off happened. It wasn't even a tip-off. It was just like basically blatant. It said Oscar Isaac. And I was like, why does this say? I was like, what is Oscar Isaac? What is this? And then I opened it. I was like, oh, no, it's Head Wounds. And I was like, oh, it's his project. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, and this is one of those things where I'm like, damn, I wonder if we'd gone to San Diego.
Oh.
But I don't know if he was there.
Why would he not have been there?
But, yeah, I'm just kind of like, legendary Oscar Isaac, San Diego Comic-Con. Something, maybe we could have got an interview with him. Maybe. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. But
Missed opportunity.
either way, Target demo right here.
You got me. It's me. I'll read it.
That's available to pre-order now. You can pre-order through your local comic shop directly or through PREVIEWSworld Pullbox, which is PREVIEWSworld.com/pullbox. And like I mentioned, that's arriving in early October. So check it out and keep a lookout for the interview that we have with not Oscar Isaac.
It'll still be a good interview.
It'll still be a good interview.
Oh, Oscar Isaac.
I'm actually curious to find, because I kind of blindly asked him, like, how did this project come about without realizing it was an Oscar Isaac project. So now I'm curious about what the answer is going to be. All right, anyway.
We have a comment coming in from Annie saying,
Annie.
is there an online space that lists upcoming shows and movies?
Uh-oh.
Basically,
Ashton's about to get triggered.
Decline. Decline answer.
I mean, there are websites like MovieInsider.com,
All right, look.
Cinema Blend.
No, we used to do this. Look,
This is such a point of contention for us. This is so funny.
we used to do this, Andy. I promise. This used to exist. It was called the Pop List, and it was mine. I was in charge of it. It was this massive,
It was.
ridiculous, impossible to keep up with calendar.
Yeah.
That was like, it was shows, TV shows, movies, and video games.
Yes.
And it was broken down by, like, these are coming out this year, these are coming out next year, these are just off over here in
TBD,
production.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, they vaguely exist. It would change so frequently that no matter what I did, it was almost never up to date. Like, I just couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah, and actually, in your defense, especially after once the pandemic hit and everything got thrown around, like all the video games, the movies, the TV shows, all that stuff got the slate got wiped clean,
Yeah.
and then stuff got moved around aggressively. It was just impossible to keep up with. Sorry, Annie. So outside of that, I don't know where else you should go. Outside, you said Screen Rant.
Well, that's what I was telling her. It's like there's websites like MovieInsider.com, CinemaBlend.com.
Yeah, I think Polygon does one.
Like IMDb has its own like upcoming movie list. So
So there you go. Hopefully that helps. We apologize. But,
I
you know,
apologize. I just couldn't. It wasn't manageable.
We're only two people, and it was a lot of work. So, all right, social swamp time, man. We're going long. Let's get
Golly.
to some social swamp because this might be a heady one. We'll
This is
see.
a banger.
All right, let's do it.
Once again, there's been kind of some drama swirling around in the nerd community about gatekeeping, how you enter the nerd community, what kind of requirements there are to do so. So we've asked you guys to weigh in, tell us if there is a right or wrong way to get into comics, either as a reader or creator, excuse me, and if so, what are those ways? So let's jump in and see what you guys had to say. Bastiche Brigade says, as long as you come from a place of genuine interest, do whatever you want.
I like that.
I'm with it.
Although I will say, again, we're gauging what is genuine interest.
Yeah, that's incredibly subjective.
That is, yeah. So that's a tricky one, but I understand what he means.
Yeah. If you're not trying to be a jerk.
Right.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't want to mess it up. I can't decipher it. All right. The only correct way to enter the world of comics, whether you are a reader or a creator, is basically passion. The love for the characters and for good stories is everything. Being a fan is everything. And the wrong way is clearly to become a mercenary who only seeks fame and money.
Interesting. Okay, it took a turn.
Took a left. Tyler Ham Books says, I learned was don't fake it. Write about what you like, not what you think other people will want. And don't give up. It took me 7 years to get my series picked up.
Oh, shout out to you, Tyler.
Looking forward to it. Satonius Omniframe says, the best way to get into comics is to let characters and stories that you connect with act as your gateway, rather than getting caught up with continuity. The great thing about comics is that it has something for every type of person. Tunes by Troy says, no! Gatekeepers suck.
Not me, by the way.
Emphatically, no. Tim Pendergast says, no wrong way whatsoever.
Okay.
Frank Davis says, no right or wrong way, just read what you like and let the love grow.
All right.
Debbie Perry says, I would say there is no right or wrong way to get into comics. Superheroes, manga, Archie, Disney, underground comics, graphic novels, web comics, they're all valid entry points to comics readership. You might want to steer clear of comics fandom, however, that way lies madness.
I think Debbie might have cracked the code.
Yeah, really, man, it was that easy.
I think Debbie might have a point. That's interesting. So I'm curious, Ashton. Like, hey, I don't know which one of us should go first because I don't know. Well, maybe I can explain what happened in small
context.
detail. I'm not going to give a
Sure.
lot of detail because, like, have you ever found yourself explaining like someone else's drama to
Yes.
somebody, and then as you're explaining, you're like, I sound like I'm a crazy person?
Yeah, 100%.
That's what's probably about to happen here if I get too much in the weeds. But long story short, a 90s creator, who I will not name, went on a rant about people not earning their spot in the industry. Somehow a contemporary creator got pulled into discussion, and they kind of subtweeted each other a little bit. You know,
I feel like it was almost more direct than that.
it wasn't
though.
more direct. Some of the details are kind of murky, which is
Yeah.
you know, this is how these things work, right? But it opened up this convo about gatekeeping, and I don't. The thing I hate about this stuff is it just makes everyone look bad.
Yes, it does.
I think that's my big takeaway. It's like it just I don't care what culture you're from, what subculture you're from, what you represent. I really hate when people just turn into bad stereotypes.
Yeah.
It's like completely unaware, like just like blatantly continue. And that I kind of felt like that's what was happening here. It's like, oh God, okay, you're gonna be this person today. Like seriously, like just unaware of like this conversation's been going on and on and on and on and on ad nauseum for like ever.
Yeah.
And now you're just gonna spew it out into the internet with no awareness at all that this is the type of conversation people already have. So anyway, your thoughts, Ashton?
Also, completely uninvited, I have to mention.
Yeah, right. It's
Just
like what prompted this?
This one creator was minding their own business, excited about their work, and
Yeah.
then here comes this other creator to just like blast them out of the water, apropos to nothing,
Right, yeah.
and not even really make a point about it.
No, not at all. There was no outcome at all.
I think probably the first the first thought I had when I saw all of this going on, and it's kind of the one that has stuck with me the most, is this kind of behavior is how you kill the things you love.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I get it. We all love comics, and we all want other people to love comics the way we do, and we want everyone to have those same pure intentions, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that means subjectively, because it is
It's subjective. Yeah.
It is subjective, but being that militant about it is how you kill it, is how you drive people away from comics, is how you decline readership, is how you just make it a dying art form. And it's not even, specific to comics. That's true across the board with anything.
everything,
You
yeah,
can
yeah.
literally love something to death, and I think that's what happened here. And having that love doesn't make it okay to be belligerent.
No, and that's kind of what it was. It's just sort of like, where is this coming from? Like it was just very odd and a little disappointing. I in particular saw it because I follow both creators, and like I just kind of had to mute people once that happened because it kept popping up in my feed. Like it was like I would kind of see another extension of that conversation for like 3 days straight, and I was like, this is stupid. I don't like
It
it.
is stupid.
Yeah, it's okay. So, all right, real quick, as quickly as I can. Right, I will point out something. So a couple weeks ago, I said, I think that there is some gatekeeping that's okay, right? Do not snip that part. But I did say that on the show. And
Yeah.
you gave me pushback on that. You were like, we're going to come back to that later.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to come back to that now, just explain myself. And I had to write it down because I was like, I don't want to stumble through this because
Okay.
this could go left, right?
Sure.
Okay. I think some gatekeeping is okay. And what I mean like that by that is, have you heard the term punching up and versus punching down?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like gatekeeping up is okay.
Interesting.
All right.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is like, during the big geek chic, nerd culture era, right? And I feel like we're kind of moved out of that a little bit.
Yeah.
But like during that period, which I would still want to say ran, maybe about 10 years straight. Yeah, a lot of grifters came into the industry, right? And when I say grifters, I mean like, people trying to like, get a movie deal, like
Yeah.
offer their like with their failed movie script that gets turned into a badly drawn comic, like you know what I mean. People who are pro outrage and then they go on their channels and talk about how they're pro outrage, or people who are anti outrage and go onto Twitter and talk about how they're anti out, whatever, all that stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, those people got to go.
Okay.
And the reason I say it is because like, yeah, it just to the same point that I was making earlier, it makes everybody look bad.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's my entire argument. Like, I'm like, I feel that like as industry people and as fans or consumers, gatekeeping up is okay.
Yes.
Because you do have a passion for this stuff. This stuff is sacred to you for a reason, right? And it's understandable to be protective of it, especially when people are being kind of like vultures about it. Because some people are very, like I know some people.
Opportunistic.
Yeah, very opportunistic. Some people are like, and I'm not going to say this is everybody. I think some people, when they talk about outrage culture and stuff, maybe believe that stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, it's one of those things where, is it really helpful? Like, is it really serving a purpose? As we saw with this whole situation, it's just sort of like, so what's the point? Like, I mean,
Right.
like, are you just going to go around policing people out of the industry? Like, going to conventions like, you can't be here. Like, who's going to listen to you?
Right. Like, really, what authority do you have? And then,
Right.
again, it comes back to the entire subjective nature of it. Like,
Right.
okay, you've been in the industry for X number of years, but does that even give you the authority to dictate, like, who can and can't be in this space?
Yeah, right, exactly. And I mean, for the people who like are also upset with what this person said, don't give them any air. Like it's the same thing. Like this is kind of like that same mentality. So that's my whole thing, and I just want to clarify that.
One thing I wanted to add that Johnny and I were talking about before you got down here, and I thought it was a really interesting point, was this concept of like traditional celebrity versus like popularity in the age of social media, or like influencers, if you will. So, like, there's kind of, people are really caught up on this idea of traditional celebrity, and I think it kind of manifested in this particular attack because you feel like you need to go through these traditional predefined paths to get to this outcome of success, and you have this very defined outcome of success that's based on these ways we've always done it. But social media makes it so much easier to build that following and establish some level of success, and you're still doing work, it still requires effort to get that outcome, but it's a different kind of work. And I think older people, not to disparage,
Right.
folks that have less of a grasp on the social media age, find it easy to look at those people that have experienced success through social media and feel like they haven't done the same work or haven't done any work
Right.
for it. And that's just not true.
Right, they just don't understand the landscape.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that played a big part in this particular interaction.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like no, actually, that's a very valid point. Now I'm thinking about the two people involved here, and like I know that the person that was kind of basically attacked,
Right.
she's done, she's out here cosplaying like at conventions, like and getting notoriety for that on top of her artwork and all this other stuff, and all that stuff I think is fair game.
Absolutely.
And I think that's all a form of promotion. You just kind of have to think differently because marketing evolves. That's kind of how it works.
Yep.
So, and also, you got to kind of give a shout out to the people who, back to your point, like about older movie stars versus now, right? Then you needed the studio system.
Yeah.
Right? Now you can do it independently.
Right.
Which is great.
Yeah.
That's actually a good thing. Like you don't need to go through the traditional channels to get seen by, a corporate head or like whatever. You can just do it yourself and do it organically based off of your personality.
Right.
Hopefully your personality. Sometimes people you know.
Toad line.
But there you go, you know. So anyway, thank you everybody for giving us your replies. I appreciate it. Definitely a conversation I'm sure we'll probably have to get back to again because it doesn't go away. But again, it's not even to kind of like find a resolution. It's just kind of to talk some sense into people.
Yeah, to realize that there's space for all of us. I think.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately the end
Right.
goal, right? There's room for everybody here. Like, we don't have to do this. This is stupid.
It is.
It's like watching two kids fight who can't fight.
That's hilarious.
So anyway,
And we do have a comment to kind of close out the conversation.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Stan is putting it really well, saying that anyone should be welcomed into this space with open arms as long as they're coming with respect and an openness to other perspectives.
I think that is
Absolutely.
I think that's important. Like, you know, I think we do see sometimes and I might be saying this because I'm an older fan, but the younger fans get a little salty with the older fans, but then the older fans get a little salty with the younger fans.
Right.
So it becomes a vicious circle. So like, yeah, perspective is everything. Too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. This week's poll?
Oh, I'm excited about this week's
Yeah,
poll.
we don't know what this is, so I'm curious what this is going to be.
Okay, so over the weekend, I got into a discussion about Shaun of the Dead.
Ooh, hey.
So I used that to inspire this week's poll, and I have to ask everybody a very important moral question, which is, if your loved one was a zombie, would you tie them up in your shed and keep them around with you?
Okay. all
These
right.
are the hard-hitting questions we're known for.
Exactly.
I mean, 119 votes. I'm very curious.
I'm asking the questions that matter.
Wow. If that, you know, that's. See, if I say no, I'm gonna have a conversation when I get home. Man, I don't know, Johnny. What about you?
I don't know, but I mean, that's not just a Shaun of the Dead thing. That happened in The Walking Dead with the governor and his daughter.
And Michonne does it
right,
with
right.
her boyfriend, or I guess her husband, or
Oh
whoever.
yeah, that is her husband. That's right. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's just that specifically Shaun of the Dead came up, and that's what made me think of it.
Right. Yeah. Actually, I haven't watched that in a while. I should probably rewatch that. I mean, I'm gonna say sure. I guess.
I would say sure.
Seems a little dicey, but sure.
I have to say sure because my knee-jerk reaction is to say no, and I know that that's not accurate for me.
You have to be in the situation. Once the situation happens, you might change your mind.
Exactly.
I get it. I totally understand.
Okay, so you both are saying sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe not with an exclamation point, but sure.
Sure. You guys are liars out
Oh,
here.
really?
You're telling me you're
Wow.
not gonna keep your mama around?
I actually had to like squint and like kind of like, am I reading this right? Some of you guys are cold blooded, man.
I can't believe that if your mom was a zombie,
Right.
you have the heart to shoot that woman in the head.
Ugh.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I don't believe it. 70% over to 30. Yeah, I think some of you guys are just lying. I don't believe it. Are there any comments we can show? Okay, no comments we can show. Any, oh, there's no comments. All right. Well, thank you for voting regardless. Comic shop shout out. None this week.
None.
We have no
None.
comic shop shout out this
So we
week.
don't have a comic shop shout out this week, but we would be happy to shout out your local comic book shop. If you want to, find us on social media, tag your shop. If they don't have a handle, just leave their name. And use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. We'll find your local comic book shop, shout them out on the show, and give them some love.
I want to give a quick shout out to Unknown Cadith.
Okay?
Which is a comic that's out this week from Ablaze. I got to do an interview with the artist behind this series, and it's an H.P. Lovecraft story, which is always a fertile ground for like adaptations, right? We were talking about Gatsby earlier.
Right.
This is definitely one of those cases where this is one of those ones like we all you hear about In the Mouth of Madness and like et cetera, et cetera. This is one of those ones that admittedly I had never heard of, but also apparently like this is not one of those more well-known H.P. Lovecraft stories.
Okay.
So yeah, you get like a nice inside look at the creative process behind it. Not a lot of creepy creatures and whatnot. Of course, there's a cosmic horror element because it is
Yeah.
Lovecraft. But yeah, check that out. Check out the interview and then check out the book that's available this week at your local comic shop.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And actually, Johnny, I will say that I told you there was another interview that was supposed to go up this week, but it did not because it was too early for that interview.
Just kidding.
So just kidding. But yes, check out Unknown Cadith. And I hope I'm saying that right.
It sounds good to me.
It sounds about right. And I think that's it. My phone's going off.
Kids Comics
It's also
Month.
Kids Comic Month.
Somebody's
That's right.
receiving a phone call.
Yeah, somebody's calling me. Tony, you know I'm doing the show. Why are you calling me? Anyway.
Tony.
Yeah, this Kids Comics Month, all month long. So definitely go to PREVIEWSworld.com, and at the bottom of the page you will see a kids comics section, which we will be expanding out throughout the month. Yeah, just we talk a lot about, especially our picks. Maybe not always kid friendly,
True.
but there are some great kids comics out there, and we even do interviews with some of the creators, as you will see if you look at the kids comics month section. So definitely check that out over at PREVIEWSworld.com. And that is it for Previous World Weekly.
Oof. We covered a lot this
We
week.
did. We covered a lot of ground. We only 1 minute over, too.
Wow.
That's pretty good. I am one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood.
And we'll see all of you at the spinner rack. Catch you guys later. See you.